All right. Happy, I'm like, what day is it? Wednesday, February 5th. I'm not even going to try with the year because I'll probably say 2016. That's what it feels like. I'm really excited about this morning. We have a special guest, which I know you all are excited about. And I don't want to take up any more of her time. But I do want to first turn off my music. That would be helpful. And then go over really quick. I want to make sure everyone got our team Google Calendar. Did anyone not see that? I'm sure everyone on here at least did. It's in our team page, and it is a new approach we're kind of trying to use this year that's going to sync to all of your calendars if you want that. But I want to make sure that you're taking a look at it because I had put in there a suggested marketing focus for literally every week, every day there's something different, and it's based on what events we have coming up. So, and if you click on them, and you guys probably know this, but I know there's some people who don't. If you click on it, it'll expand what it means. So like I had done a play on words for our marketing focus right now being the glowing goddess duo. And if you click on the topic, it'll open up what that actually means. And it's basically the combination of collagen and energize. And if you think about it, like collagen helps you glow, energize helps you with, we all know everything in life, especially as moms. So kind of speaking to the results, what that's going to do for the people who are following you on social media, what this could mean for them, and what moms or busy humans these days couldn't use smoother skin and more energy, right? More productivity in their life. So when I did this the first time, I want to say it was a couple months ago, I had random people buy collagen from me who I didn't even know because I did a video on I can't remember. I did a title that was super weird. People would want to know what the heck is she talking about. I was watch me erase my eye wrinkles in a few seconds or something like that. But then what I did, I don't know if you guys know, but on their Beachbody On Demand blog, we have so much research. And if you look at the research from collagen, there's actually clinical studies that have proven that within 4 weeks it will help reduce, I forget the wording that they use, but it's facial lines, or I don't think they use the word wrinkles, but it'll help reduce facial lines. And within 8 weeks, it actually is clinically proven to help your body produce more of its own collagen. That is a very unique factor. I did a live video in here that I think most of you heard or watched a couple days ago about 3 things that to me really stand out for successful coaches, and that unwavering belief that what we have to offer is very unique is part of that. And when we have something that we can say, this is clinically proven, this is why I use it, and this is how it could help you, a lot of people, it helps build trust. On social media, that's one of the hardest things because people don't know you. So I wanted to make sure that you all saw that. Tomorrow it shifts to talk more about coaching because we have the 3-day coach sneak peek coming up, which I will be posting more about probably today in our leadership page. But I want to make sure you saw that. I'm pretty sure everyone's on a team cup. Everyone should have gotten 3 $10 off promo codes. As of right now, as far as I know, we still are doing free pumpkin spice Shakeology with every Shakeology challenge pack, which is insane. So you've got 2 huge things to market. There's, Bar Blend is still on sale. So don't lose excitement about that because it's all really incredible. Okay, so now turning it over to Zee. I know that you guys saw her credentials and her accolades of really the result of her business and her efforts. So I'm so thankful that she's taking time out of her morning to share with us. Just to kind of recap, she is a mama of an 18-month-old sweet little girl. She's a 5-star diamond coach, 2-star in her husband's account, 2-time elite coach. She's had 54 months in Success Club. That's a lot of months. And we were talking kind of about topics for this call, and she was saying too, for her, that she usually averages at about SC20, usually minimum. It's been all the way up to SC60, and she's never really paid for ads or done anything crazy. It's just been the result of her own effort. So she obviously knows what she's talking about. And I'm really excited to learn from her. I know we all are super excited. I love her background. You guys know my background is in health and wellness, the medical side, and that sometimes discourages people. And I love that Zee's background is in corporate. I remember, I don't think I told you this, Zee, but I first saw your face. I first learned about you and your story on, I was on a 1 to 3 star. It was when I was in the 1 to 3 star corporate mastermind. And I remember you were a guest speaker, and that's when I first learned about the Freedom Journal that you have brought to the table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you were talking about how you mentor in the different phases just from what you brought from your business background. So I'm so excited. I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to mute myself.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys have such an incredible coach. I actually didn't realize you were on that call because you've always been someone, when I first heard about you, was with everything you know about Shakeology and your background, I was like, she is so incredible. And so that's kind of cool how it all comes full circle like that. But I'm super excited to talk to you guys. My background is definitely not fitness. I wasn't even into fitness as a kid. That wasn't me. I went finance in school. I went back and got my MBA, and if you asked me in my corporate career what I wanted to be a VP. I was on fast track to go that route. I met my husband like that. I was actually a manager at a company, and he was in my training class. So the first time he ever met me, I was in a suit. That was what I wanted. I told him that's the most important thing to me is my career. And I never thought I would completely make a complete career change, right? And that's kind of how it started. Is my career started to lead me down a path of just not being healthy. And it was obviously getting on the road at 6 a.m., driving for 2 hours, getting back home super late, having to make quick, unhealthy meals, not finding time to work out. One thing led to the next, and all of a sudden I was engaged 6 months away from our wedding and 10 to 15 pounds heavier than I had been for years. And I tried a lot of different things. And there was this girl on my social media who I had worked with 10 years prior. And she kept posting about these groups. And I kept thinking, I don't need to do that. I'd rather pay a professional. So I paid a professional on Instagram who looked like she was a pro, and it didn't get me anywhere. And then finally I thought, what do I have to lose? I'm just going to join this challenge group. And she had known me from my corporate career and never asked me to coach. And this is, to me, I think about this all the time because she was a stay-at-home mom at that point, and everybody in this group was her tribe. There were a lot of moms that were focused on being moms. I was not a mom. I wasn't even married yet. I was engaged, and I was career. I was on a plane all the time. But there is one thing I did, and I really did jump into the challenge group. I was like, no matter how busy I am, I'm going to take this thing seriously because I want it to work. Within 2 weeks, I fell in love. I never missed a day of posting on the challenge group page. I actually shared a before and after in our group, which was so not me because I never had a social media presence. I worked in finance and HR, and so I couldn't even have a public Instagram. My Facebook only had 200 people. So to even post in this private group was actually a lot for me. 2 weeks in, I had people at my work that were kind of asking what I was doing, but it wasn't like anyone was coming up to me and saying oh my God, I have to join you. Okay. So I was just kind of getting excited, and I thought, I do know one thing that I always run into, and that's that all the women and I at work bond over how crappy we're eating. We talk about it all the time. We're unhappy about it. We all talk about the new diet we're doing. We all tried new things, especially being in the career we were at. We met with a lot of clients. We did want to look good and feel good, but none of us really had a handle on it. And I kept thinking, I feel like I could really help a lot of people, and I feel like it would be really fun. And then I think it could help me. I think if I had other people doing this, then I'm probably not going to quit as quickly. I'm going to stick this thing out. And I did have one girl that actually said, I want to join you. I reached out to my coach, and she said, cool, send me her info. I was like, okay. So I sent her the info, and she signed her up. And then I got to thinking, wait a minute, if she can do this, I worked with this girl in corporate, she's not a health and fitness background either. So if she can do this, and she's making money, and she's having fun, how come I can't do this? So I went to Beachbody, teambeachbody.com, and it said become a coach. And I was like, okay, let's find out what they actually need from me to become a coach. Oh, they just need $43. Okay, I can do that. So I signed up, and then I took a screenshot and I sent it to her and I said, hey, I signed up to be a coach. She's like, what? You did what? Yeah, I guess I decided to be a coach. That's why you need to ask every single person you come in contact with, especially, like, if there's one thing that kills me, it's when I hear there are challengers you have not invited, even challengers that suck. Because yesterday, this girl doesn't suck, but this is someone who is not participating, okay? Like, not participating at all. And I reached out and I said, hey, do you think we could actually you could actually be more accountable to all of this if you were to maybe coach? And she's like, I've actually been tossing that idea around. Invite everyone who's in your groups. That is the first place to go to invite to coaching. You know why she didn't invite me? Why my coach never invited me? Because I made it very clear I love my career. I made it very, very clear I had a path. I knew what I was going to do. I was going to be a VP. I was super busy traveling on a plane. And in her mind, she was thinking, this isn't really her thing. It's just kind of our thing, but she's a little different. And I love having her in my group, but she's not really going to be a coach. I've been her top coach since the day I started. Don't dismiss anyone because of your beliefs. You never know who is going to crush this business. It could probably be the person who is the furthest from what you would expect from someone who's going to say yes. Okay. So ask every single person. Anyway, so I joined and I didn't like the date of her challenge group. So I thought, well, if she can run a challenge group, I can run a challenge group. So I'll just run my own challenge group. And so I ran my own challenge group and I figured I'd better find people to fill it. So I found 7 girls to fill that challenge group. Really, Jess? That's awesome. And then I saw she did a post and she recognized a girl for hitting Emerald. And I thought, oh, let me Google what this whole Emerald thing is about. Oh, I just decided 2 people. Hey, honey, I called my husband up. I said, he wasn't my husband. He was my fiance. I said, I need your social. I'm going to sign you up for something. Then I called my soon-to-be maid of honor. And I said, I know you're drinking Herbalife, but that's not what I'm drinking. So you're going to switch. And that's kind of how I built this business, you guys. It was really just me looking at someone, and I want you to do this too, and saying, if she can do it, so can I. Instead of looking at someone and thinking, I could never do what she does. I hate when my coaches tell me that. That is not a compliment. I don't ever want my coaches to look at me and think, I can't ever do what you do. No, I want you to look at everyone else who's successful and be a little cocky about it and say, well, if she can run a challenge, I can run a challenge. If she can hit Emerald, I can hit Emerald. Whatever it is that someone is doing, I want you to have that attitude and think, if she can do it, why can't I? And that's how I truly jumped into this business. My coach didn't reach out and tell me to hit elite one year, right? She was there, she was supportive, she was teaching me all the things in the beginning, but those bigger things, it was literally because I heard her say she was gonna go for elite. And she told me she was gonna hit elite. And I thought, I better Google that and find out what that elite thing is. And that's what it was. It was like, wait a minute, if she can do that, why can't I? And I want you to ask yourself that about everything. When you guys see Jessica doing something, it's not she can do that because she has a background in this. I promise you guys that is not the case. Because I am here to tell you, I have 0 background in health and fitness. Look at every single person, and if they have something that you want, ask yourself, why can't I do that too? And that's truly how I built this entire business, was with a little bit of that cocky attitude of, if she can do it, why can't I? All right. So before I go on, are there any questions? You guys good? Because we're going to kind of jump around a little bit over here. Okay. So I did work in corporate when I built this. To be honest, you guys, working in corporate, I know people say, how did you balance it all? It wasn't so much, whether you're a mom and you're trying to balance that, you're trying to balance corporate, none of it is any different if your vision is very clear. And if I see a coach struggle with the time management, it's not because you're struggling with the time management. You're struggling because you're too scared to put a true why and vision out there. If it was about 6 months in when I really decided, I didn't decide from the beginning, I kind of went into this for fun. It was about 6 months in when I really decided I want to do this. I was listening to the national wake up calls and I kept thinking, okay, these are really incredible women. These are not just, someone from home kind of dilly-dallying, not really doing anything important. These women are changing lives. These women are creating legitimate businesses. All these people in my corporate job that I thought, oh my gosh, I want to be a VP. These women on these calls, they were that. They were everything I wanted to be. They were leaders. They had drive. They were doing something incredible for their family. And it was about 6 months in when I looked at my husband and I said, I want that. But when I decided, that vision was so clear of what I want in my life that the time management fell into place because I was willing to sacrifice for it. If you know me personally, which you guys don't, so I'm going to tell you this, I am someone that goes to bed early. And the thing that made the most sense to sacrifice was my sleep, because I didn't have a lot of time during the day. And I'm not going to tell you it was easy. I remember I told my husband at one point, I cannot sit on the couch because I'm going to keep falling asleep. And I have to work my business. And so I would sit, we lived in San Francisco. We didn't even really have like a kitchen area. We had a bar. And so I would sit up there because if I was sitting upright on a bar stool, I was less likely to fall asleep. That was not fun, but I knew my vision was going to be awesome and it was fun and I was excited about it. And so that's what led me to it. And if you're going to ask me today, I get to work from home with my little one and I don't have to drop her off at daycare, because daycare would not have been 40 hours a week like my job was. My job would have required a lot more. She would have been at least 50 hours a week. So it's worth it to sit on a bar stool, tired, after my husband goes to bed, when I really wanted to go to bed at 9 p.m., yeah, it was worth it. But in the moment, it was awful. I didn't enjoy that. But I enjoyed this vision. I believed in myself. So it's never, how did you make it happen? Because everybody's story is different, right? Like I'm not going to go through my corporate career and tell you guys like, well, there was this hour here where I did this and this, that. It all comes down to one thing. Because everyone's situation, I don't know if you have drive time like I did. It's all different. But whatever the time management issue is that's holding you back, it's about the vision. You are going to be willing to sacrifice something in your schedule, even something that's a little bit painful, right? If you want it badly enough. And that was it for me. And sleep, that on the list of things I want to give up, that's like last on my list, you guys. But it was the only one I wasn't wasting a lot of time during the day. I was driving, which yes, you can listen to PD, but how much inviting can you actually do when you're driving safely, right? I couldn't work my entire business on a 2-hour commute in back-to-back traffic. And so that was kind of out. I could do things productive, but it wasn't revenue generating activity. Once I'm at work, I'm at work. I led a team. I managed a team. I wasn't on my phone sending messages. So that's out. Lunches, 90% of my lunches were with clients. When I got off work, I actually taught PIO. I started teaching PIO after I started coaching. And so that was out, right? That left evening. And it was the last thing on my list I wanted to give up, but I did. It was a little bit of sleep, and I would go back and do it again 100 times. So look in your calendar and think, what can I sacrifice? Sacrifices don't always feel good, but if your vision is exciting to you and clear and you want it badly enough, sacrifice that thing that you're thinking. Right now, it's probably in your head and you're going, I just really don't want to sacrifice that. That's your like, golden answer right there. It's that thing you're thinking about. Okay, so that's my story. I'm going to jump into the topic, which is how to have conversations that convert prospects to high SC numbers. You guys, I didn't have a big social media following. I had 200 friends on Facebook and a really pathetic IG. Even today, my IG is not really booming because I jumped in so late. And that's okay, because I have been able to hit decent to high SC numbers consistently. My non-negotiable is 20, and I've never done paid advertisements. I don't have the kind of following where I do a, click here to apply, and then all of a sudden I get a ton of people that fill. In fact, when someone fills out a Google form without me talking to them, it's like I should go buy a lottery ticket, because that doesn't happen to me, you guys. I don't post a form and like all these people are like, I want to join you. It's so rare that someone would fill out a form. And then if someone does fill out a form, I'll message and I get super excited, and then I never hear back. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So every person that has joined me is definitely someone I have talked to and really built that relationship with. Remember this, if you're not having conversations, there's nothing to convert. So the very first thing is you have to talk to a lot of people to be able to have people to convert. Okay, so you have to have a lot of conversations. However, I'm going to tell you guys something that might surprise some of you. I don't really do cold invites. My very first job after college was knocking on doors. So I'm not scared of cold invites. I just think it's kind of like throwing toilet paper on the ceiling and hoping that something sticks. You're going to churn and burn through your followers really quickly if you're just copying and pasting messages to everyone. Hey, I want to tell you about this group. Do you want to join? Do you want to join? Do you want to join? It feels like it's a lot of work, but it's actually taking the easy route to send those messages because you're not actually cultivating a relationship. So I don't really do cold invites. In fact, I find that most coaches that resist invitations and sending invites is because the invites feel yucky because you haven't made it easy to invite. If you can cultivate relationships first, the invites actually feel totally natural to invite someone and it doesn't feel icky at all. So how do you go about cultivating those relationships? So I'm going to teach you guys something that I use. And you can take this in your own way, but I'm going to show you guys what I've taught a lot of my coaches and what has worked for me. I've been doing this for about 3 years. Is I have a notebook, I call it my brain book. And what I do is I take one sheet of paper and on the top, super cheesy, I put peeps to peep. And I write down, I told you guys it was cheesy. I write down 26 names because there are 26 lines on a piece of paper, like super simple, okay? Now, where do I get these names? I have to find them. This is how I find them. I go to my last couple of posts and I find, okay, who are some people on here? They don't have to be brand new. And in fact, I still put customers on here because why not? Talking to customers can still help your business. So I find 26 people whose names I'm gonna write down, trying not to use the same 26 from yesterday. And you gotta be on top of your posting game to find these people. I look at who's watching my stories. I look at who's answering polls, not just fitness polls, but just any polls. You've got to be on top of your social media game to have people here. If I don't have anyone to write down, then my social media posts are lacking, right? And sometimes it's just the posts that have nothing to do with fitness. But I find 26 people to fill up this page, and then I message them. I'm not inviting them. I am just messaging them. I might be thanking them for liking my post. I might be saying, hey, I caught your name on my story and such and such and such. I might be following up with a customer that maybe hasn't been active in the group for a long time. I'm going to talk to 26 people because when I force myself to talk to 26 people and I do this every single day or even every other day, then when I sit down to do invitations, it is so much easier to have invitations. You could put birthday messages on here too. I just need 26 people to talk to. Super simple. Don't overthink it. 26 people a day. Then when I go to invite, it is so much easier because now, let's say this gal, Jennifer, has popped up on my peeps to peep a couple times in the last 2 weeks and we've kind of been chatting. Then when I go to invite her, it doesn't feel weird. It doesn't feel icky. And I actually also don't really care if she ignores it because I'll still chat with her in a couple of weeks. Okay, you are probably still gonna get ghosted. I don't count ghosting. I have coaches that will message me and say, hey, I sent 20 invites, I got ghosted by 19. Why are you counting the ghosts? Don't worry about it, just move on. People that are not responding to you, guys, when do you watch stories? When do you look at your social media? Think about it. Some of the times you're probably sitting on the toilet. Maybe you don't want to message someone back or you're running after your kid. So don't take it personally. If I'm ghosted and then they pop up on my peeps to peep in like 3 days, I'm just going to send another message. Hey, I saw you again, and I thought I'd say hello again. Don't take it personally, all right? Yeah, don't count the ghosts. That's what I do to keep conversations flowing. Then when I come to invite, it is so natural to invite folks that I've been peeping for a week or 2 or maybe 3, whatever it is. Now, here's what's really cool about these conversations. If you are on top of your social media game and you're doing a really good job of posting on your stories and you're doing your posts and you're doing stuff that's not just Beachbody related, like one of the best posts I did in my stories about a month ago was, how many of you guys have seen that Netflix show You? Anybody? Okay, it's like a lot of people apparently are watching this. And so I just did a, hey, are you watching this too? And the number of people that commented on that poll was crazy. Like I could peep to peep, like 5 pages, right? So sometimes it's the non-Beachbody stuff that you're just gonna start talking about. But because those people are watching you now, because you're linked, they're also seeing your other stuff and they feel connected to you. And then when I do another story or I do a poll that is Beachbody related, before I can even invite them, they ask me a question. By the way, I also saw your post about such and such. Can you tell me more? Okay. So this here is how I get a list to invite in the first place. Okay. If I just sat down and decided I'm just going to invite and I haven't had conversations, that would feel incredibly overwhelming. I would feel super salesy, which I always have coaches say, I don't want to feel how far I would get honest with you, because none of the invitations would feel warm. All right. Let's see. So that's my brain book.
Can I ask you
time management with this? Yeah.
Sorry. Can I ask you a quick question on that?
Yeah, of course.
So, I absolutely love that. I know everyone loves this because I just know for so many reasons. But I have a question for you. So you have your peep to peep that you do 26 a day is your goal. And then what does the tracking system look like for you when you go to, okay, so now I've been messaging with this person. So does it go on another list to invite them? And then where does it go from there to like follow-ups?
Okay, so that's a really good question. If they're showing up on peeps to peep, I'm not taking one thing. Okay, so I'm going to back up a little bit. A couple things in the process that you didn't ask, but I want to mention. One, do not get distracted when you're doing this. Set a timer for an hour. You can send 26 messages in an hour. If someone responds, do not go respond to that message till you're done with your 26. Now, if I get any type of response from someone, all I do after I'm done is I respond to them, all that stuff, and then I come in and I highlight it. And guys, some days are not great. Like honestly, not one highlight on this day. That's fine. But I'll highlight it, and then I use Dough, D-O-U-G-H. If you want to try it, there is a trial, and you have to have a BB password or a code, Beachbody code to use it. It's BB30. I go in there and I pull up their name and I mark them as a warm lead, and then I schedule a follow-up. Now, here's the really cool thing about this. To be honest with you guys, I didn't always use Dough. Even if you do 0 next step tracking, these people are going to show up again. But highlight the ones that respond back to you so that when you are doing invites, you can come back and just look at the highlights. You don't have to, I don't want to tell you guys you have to use some paid program. I like Dough, I like Zee. However, even just a simple highlight will do the trick. The other thing you can do, which I used to do before I signed up for Dough, is I call it my brain book because it's more than just peeps to peep. The largest section in this book is the peeps to peep. And then I have a tab here and it says potential challengers. So anyone that actually shows interest or talks, we have a conversation going, there's just that feeling where like I could totally invite them and not feel like a creep. I write them in the potential challenger section, okay? There's another tab for potential coaches. Where is it? Okay, so there's potential coaches. And same thing, and some people can pop up on both lists because maybe they're a challenger, but I also think they could make a great coach. And so I just keep that list, and I get a new book every single year. I have my old books up there. Now with Dough, like I said, is I use the peeps to peep. I like using my book, but I go into Dough to mark them as a warm lead. If you don't want to use a program and you're a paper and pencil kind of person, you can totally just do the book. Or you could use an Excel spreadsheet if you want something more electronic. Does that answer your question, Jeff? Yeah? Okay. So that's really all it is. What's really cool about this too is I never feel like I don't have a list to go back to, ever. I mean, even sometimes if it's like the end of the month and I'm not where I want to be, I'll pull out my book, my brain book from 2017. Like, let me see if I missed anyone in here and go through these lists, because the people who are watching me then might not be the same people watching me now, but it doesn't mean I can't go back to them. Okay. Let's see. The brain book, my personal goal with my brain book is to do 4 pages a week. So I don't do the brain book every single day. If I can do 4 a week, I feel like I have plenty of people to invite daily. Okay. So if I can do 26 names 4 times a week, I feel like I can do this daily. I had a coach on my team who was barely pushing SC6 the beginning of last year, barely. Like she would push and just barely cross over the SC6 line. We had to talk about our goals, and I told her, I said, I think you need to push over 10, even 20 would be best. If you're an Emerald coach and you're not hitting SC10, you are throwing away leads, because the leads you get at SC10 and Emerald, or the customer free leads, are so much better than the SC6. And so we had a serious conversation, and she committed to doing her brain book 4 times a week. And she has been consistently SC20 every single month. Okay, so this thing works if you use it. And 4 times a week is what I went for. She had big goals, and so she went 4 times a week. Even I have coaches who are, I just want to be SC6. I'd be really happy with SC10, 3 times a week. 26 combos, you set your timer for an hour and you commit to getting those 26 combos out within an hour. If you get to the point where you're thinking, I don't have anyone to message, it's all the same people, well, then you got to backtrack, reverse it. How do people pop up here in the first place? You got to connect with more people. So on Facebook, sending mutual invites every single day, 15 to 20 mutual friends. Mutual friends are the warmest market ever. I'm not anti-Facebook IG or pro-Facebook IG. I think everything works for different people, but I am going to tell you guys right now, Facebook is way warmer. So if you're a newish coach or you're struggling to hit Success Club and you're out there chasing a cold market, you are missing out on a huge opportunity for your warm market. It is so much easier for me to message a stranger when we have 76 connections. That does not feel like a stranger to either one of us. And a lot of my challengers, people will say, like, how did you guys meet? And they'll say, well, we had like 100 mutual friends, so I kind of felt like I already knew her. And that's true. On Facebook, adding mutual friends will increase your mutual friends. Just make sure you don't do mutual friends with other coaches, or you're all going to kind of go after the same people. Friends, yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, did you really? That's so cute. Wow, okay. If anyone's single, you can also get married that way. That's adorable. All right, so there you go, mutual friends. All right, what else? Tracking. Where is mine? Here we go. So I use Doe, but Doe just tells me who to talk to. It's not so much tracking activity. Does everybody here have the Success Club system tracker? Okay, so this really, what I use this for, I was telling Jessica earlier, my first job in college was working in retail. And at the end of every single day, we had to go in and we had to turn in all this stuff that we filled out for our company, right? The company I worked for. And it was all questions very similar to this. It was all about, they wanted us to open up credit card sales. It was, how many are you sending? How many people did you talk to? That wasn't because they just wanted to monitor what we're doing. They wanted to see what's working. If we had 20 conversations, were we successful? If we had 10, were we successful? And to me, using a tracker, even as a brand new coach, we didn't have this one, but I still had a tracker I used. It allows me to look back and say, January was not where I wanted it to be. What was I doing and what can I improve? Oh, February was an awesome month. It wasn't a fluke. It's not a fluke why you have a great month. I can go back, and don't throw these away, you guys. When you're filling it out, save them and then go back and mark how you actually did that month, because whatever it is that got you there, you want to repeat that. And if what you did didn't get you where you want to be, then you want to make sure you improve it, you increase that. And so using your tracker and actually completing the tracker is going to help you analyze your business. And even as your coach, for me, and I know that's the same way, I won't do a one-on-one with a coach without this, not because it's a punishment, because I don't know how to help them. I can't look at this and say, okay, maybe this is what you need to do, or maybe this is what you need to do. And you want to own your business and feel just as empowered. How many of you guys know about 2B Mindset? Did any of you do 2B Mindset? Or what 2B Mindset did for me was it taught me, I had this idea in my head that my body kind of just does its own thing, right? I mean, I love both nutrition programs we have. I could force it to be the way it was with containers. 2B Mindset taught me, no, I actually can understand my body. And by tracking, right, Alana says, don't be a tracker slacker, I can really analyze how my body reacts to things. This is how you analyze how your business reacts to your activity. And nobody's activity level is the same, but I can look at this and say, when I was on top of my stories, it looks like that's actually the most important thing in my business. My business takes off when I do that. Or when I'm struggling on, maybe it's the follow-ups where you're struggling. Like you did everything great and there's a whole week where you didn't do follow-ups and you really struggled those weeks. But the weeks you were on top of them, that's where you did great. So it truly allows me to analyze my business. Another thing it does, it keeps you from wasting time. So when it says here, for example, invite 15 minutes. I never follow the, I shouldn't say I never follow. I don't read the 5 as I have to do 5. I look at it as like my minimum. It says at least 5, but I really try to work against the timer. Can I get 7 in the minutes it's telling me in 15 minutes? Can I get 8 in the 15 minutes? So set your timer for those, because if my timer isn't going, I'm like squirrel all over the place. So make sure you're working against a timer. And then the last thing I'm going to tell you guys about Success Club is it's 100% a mindset. That's it. It is 100% a mindset. If you say I'm going to try for Success Club, you're not going to hit Success Club. How many of you guys are married or in a relationship? Would you guys put in your vows, I'm going to try really hard to be committed to this marriage? I hope not, right? I'm going to try to be committed to this marriage. It does not work. It really is a mindset. And I've had coaches on my team that are struggling, and I'll say, I want you to go find a mirror and just say, I will not miss Success Club. And those are the coaches that hit it. People like Jessica and I, it's not that we have it easy or we're just willing to work harder. I'm willing to work harder because I have that mindset of I would never miss Success Club. And it's so ingrained that the activity follows. If you truly ingrain it in your head, starting February, this month, I cannot miss it. I will not miss it, even if it's the last day of the month. And there have been times where it is literally the last couple of days of the month and I am not where I need to, like literally not even SC6, you guys, okay? And it's in my mind. I absolutely will not miss. And for me, it's like, I at least have to get that 10 in because I want those leads. And it happens. That it's because it's so ingrained in my head that I do not miss. Not I try not to miss. I hope I don't miss. I hope I hit 10. No, I do not. It is not possible. It's kind of like the air I breathe. And so when you start to have that crazy, ridiculous conviction, it will happen. It will lead you in all of your activities. I don't care if it's the 1st of the month or the 29th of the month. And every now and then, it's like halfway through the month and I'm not at all where I want to be, and then by the end of the month it's a great month, and that's because I just don't panic about it. I literally never think like, oh my gosh, it's the 15th and I'm at 0. I'm not worried because I know I don't miss and I know I hit my goals. And having that true belief in yourself will lead you to do all of the activities. When you have doubt and then you're doing the activities, I'm telling you guys, your people can sense that doubt. They feel that doubt. They sense the insecurity, and you're just putting that bad mojo out there. When you have that confidence, it comes to you. Your work will have a different vibe. When you're messaging someone, you will have that confident vibe that I know I'm a great coach and I'm absolutely going to be helping people this month. So it really does start with mindset and that conviction. I don't ever go into a month thinking, oh my gosh, where am I going to get people this month? And there are definitely months I do not have a great list, but it doesn't matter. My same conviction in myself, whether I have a great list or no list at all. That really is, you guys, what it comes down to for Success Club. For me, and every single coach I know that is consistently hitting, they go into the month with that strong mindset. All right, that is all I have for you guys, but I am happy to take questions.
That was so incredible, Zee. I've got a ton of notes, and I know for our entire team, it was just almost like a breath of fresh air. Because when we're trying to do the same thing over and over and over again and not getting anywhere, you know, just as well as I do, that's so discouraging. Mm-hmm. And this is such a different, just everything you shared was so unique. So I appreciate that. I have one question. If you guys have questions, either put them in the chat or you can unmute yourself. So at the end of the month, when you find yourself, because I know this happens to all of us at some point in our business, and we haven't reached our goals. And for me, and I feel like this is probably true for you too, I love asking coaches this because I feel like it sparks our creativity when you have that confidence of, I know I'm not going to miss, but I need to get creative in order to make this happen. So what are some things for you that you do at the end of the month to kind of facilitate that to happen?
One, before you do the invites, before you up the invites and the follow-up and all of that, if I'm really struggling in a month, I need to do like a really from the gut CTA post. One of the ones where your emotions are in there, you're telling the story. It is not factual at all. It is 100% from like the bottom of my soul, all the things I felt before I found Beachbody. So that is super, super powerful for me, right? And I can do it in stories, and I can do it in a call to action. I can do it as my regular post. I'm probably going to do both. Okay. So that's a big one. Another thing is, guys, don't be scared to share a ton of information that only your clients get. The more I do that, for example, Beachbody On Demand, you don't have to hold back on sharing. I know we're not supposed to put links in our posts and stuff like that, but you can get into detail with every single program we have, how many minutes. People like information. And even though it's factual, in my stories, I'm okay sharing it. Sharing tips, okay? So think about your eating plan. The more tips you can share, the more people will think, oh, she's valuable. Maybe I should join her because I'm going to get more of that stuff, okay? So sharing anything to do with food. And I think food, in my opinion, sharing nutrition and food is one of the most powerful things we can do because everybody struggles with it. And I don't care if you're the most basic chef out there or the most incredible. I'm definitely more on the basic side. The more you can share nutrition tips, the more people will see you as valuable. My business does so much better when I share recipes and nutrition tips. And if you're not doing any cooking, it is a simple tip as an after dinner, this is the herbal tea that I have, and here's how it helps me. So I get really, really heavy on sharing information, even insider secrets. For example, I remember I did a post once about how to use the blue container because the blue container changed my life. Like I was eating so many healthy fats, it was super unhealthy. And I just gave that information out. And I remember so many people messaged me like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I'm doing all of these things, right? And so sharing insider tips pretty heavy when I really want to show people that I bring value. That's a big one for me. Do you guys do free groups?
We have over the last couple of months, and then we've been trying out some different things as a team. So you have
to be smart about the timing on a free group, right? You don't want to roll out a free group when you have 4 days left of the month and now everybody's joining a free group and no one's going to purchase from you, right? So in my opinion, the best time for me is when I know I'm entering a month without a big market to reach out to, and I really feel like I need to boost some more people to talk to, some new people. Then I'm going to roll it out early in the month so that the free group can end and I still have 2 weeks left of the month. So that's a big one right there, right? Is run. And I am a fan of free groups, but you do have to be smart about the timing because nothing is worse than inviting to a free group on the 29th of the month. Like that's almost shooting yourself in the foot, right? So thinking about that. Another thing that has worked, two little like tricks, tips, whatever you want to call them, that have helped me when I'm really in a crunch is number one, creating a Facebook event. Do you guys ever do that? An event page? Jessica, how about you guys? So creating a Facebook event for the next challenge group, taking all of your current challengers and saying, you need to accept the invitation to this event to join, okay? And you need to invite one other person. Every single person needs to invite one other person. So click the invite button, invite one other person. That has helped, right? So creating the event and asking my challengers to invite one person to join them. It's a great way to bring potential coaches, and it's also a great way to get referrals, all right? And then another thing, guys, the 3-day refresh is gold. Like last month, December and January, at the end of the month, I had some people really close to SC, but not quite there. In December, we ran like a last minute, and our posts will say, if you want to do this, you need to make the decision right this minute. And then when you message them, you really show the difference between the 3-day refresh challenge pack and how much better of a deal that is, as opposed to just buying the kit by itself. But one, it'll boost your volume. And then two, you absolutely can hit Success Club with that. So 3-day refresh is my favorite. And then January, one of my coaches said, hey, Zee, last month I only hit because of that last minute 3-day refresh that you ran. Do you think you can run another one? And so we decided we're going to do it again. And we just a few days ago, right at the end of the month, did that post of, if you want to do this with us, you need to act right now though, because there's no time to waste, right? And sure enough, it got one of my girls over the hump, right? She was like right there, she needed it, and she was able to sell challenge pack for the 3-day refresh. Another thing with the 3-day refresh is if you can get a husband and wife to do it together, the best package is to buy the challenge pack and then add on the 3-day refresh without Shakeology. So doing the combo like that will get you the SC, and then both the husband and wife get to do the refresh together. Okay, so the refresh, I feel like if you could run a refresh every single month or at least every other month, it will not only boost your volume, it is an easy way to kind of get some last minute stragglers in at the end of the month. Hope that was helpful. Anything else, you guys?
Thank you so much. I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
This is so awesome. Thank you. Like I kind
You're
of
so welcome.
background too, so I like speak the language. Question, so you pretty much, it sounds like you use your Facebook personal page, or do you use a Facebook business page?
My personal page.
Okay.
Yeah, and I took that from 200 to probably like around 4,000 or so now, just through mutual friends.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
In your inviting and tracking process, are you adding people to your potential customer, potential coach list when you invite them, or do you just kind of build that list and then invite from it each day?
The tab that says potential challengers.
Yeah.
Those are people who I feel so it's either people who have shown any level of interest, right? Like they commented on a post or anything, even if they ghost me, or it's people who through my chatting, my peeps to peep, I just feel like I'm so comfortable inviting them.
Okay.
You know? And they might not say yes right away, but you know those folks where you're like, I know she's going to join me one day. That's who kind of goes on that list because our combo was really great. Maybe she's not looking for something today. Maybe she's not ready to commit, but I know she's a potential challenger. So I am going to invite her and that'll start that combo. She might not join me for 3 more months, but I still feel from the bond that we had through the chats that when she is ready for something health and fitness, she's going to come to me. So I might as well invite her before that happens.
Right. Okay.
That's who ends up on that list.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
I have a good question. So on your peeps to peep list, you said you're usually doing about 26 of those.
Mm-hmm.
On average, how many people do you think you're inviting every day from that list?
That's a really good question. To actually send an invite.
Mm-hmm.
So because I use Dough, it has all my warm people, and I want to say it pops up 14 a day for me of my warm list, but you're not going to have that right away, right? So I want to say I do probably between 14 and 15 on Dough, and that's literally what I follow. And I don't want you guys to have to go get Dough. It really doesn't matter. But my point is that when I first started all of this, I didn't have as many people to invite. So even 5 a day, that was great. Now I have so many more to keep up with because I've been doing the peeps to peep for so long that it's closer. I think Dough does 14. I'll go in there and check for you guys. But if you could pull out 5 invites every single day from this, I'd say you're doing pretty good. Yeah, 5 should be a minimum every single day.
That's really helpful to me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nikki had a question. Do you run your challenge groups on Challenge Tracker app?
Oh, I saw that. Right now I'm Facebook. I did do my challenge tracker in the past. There's things I love and hate about both, but we are going to be getting bod groups. I think April now is what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the direction I've given my team is just don't change anything right now. But there's no point. I mean, I wouldn't make any changes tomorrow. Whatever you're using, I mean, Jess, are you kind of on the same page with that?
As far as not changing?
Yeah.
Yeah. We currently have a big team challenge group for most of the coaches that we kind of delegate posts and stuff, and we're in the Challenge Tracker app, which I think will be helpful moving over to bod groups.
Yeah, if you're already in there, I think that is smarter.
But changing that, yeah.
I wouldn't like switch
if you have something that works, especially. Yeah.
What was that?
I was saying, especially if you have something that works right now.
Yeah, and if you're using my challenge tracker, now would not be the time to go to Facebook because you're just going to pull your people out all over again, you know? So I would say since we're 3 months away from bod groups, just kind of stick to what you're doing. And I've done both, and like I said, there's things I love and dislike about both.
Same.
But bod groups is going to change our life. I'm very excited. I'm really.
It's supposed to have a CRM within it, I think, too, for customer or prospects. I think
that will be amazing.
It will be. I'm so excited about it. So soon we won't even have to ask that question, but it is a good question for now. Anything else?
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
I look forward to re-listening and watching. And
oh, it was my pleasure.
I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I'm going to ask you one last question, and then we'll let you go unless you guys have something else. And you kind of touched on this, but for newer coaches, because we have a lot of new coaches who are very eager, and they have either just now started a social media account, or have, like you had mentioned in the beginning, you only had 200 followers or 200 friends, and have invited everyone because they're so eager. And I feel like with what you've shared, the two important things we all need to walk away with is the importance of being consistent on social media in your posts and your stories so that you have people to connect with, and the importance of making the peeps to peep list, like making those connections first so that the invites are more substantial and feel good. Do you have any other like tips for new coaches who have no social media?
So as a new coach, like brand spanking new, right? When I told you guys I wanted 7 girls in my challenge group, well, I didn't want 7. I just wanted anybody because I decided to pick a date and I'm like, I need people. It ended up being 7. Obviously, I was not doing peeps to peep back then. I didn't know any of this stuff. Your warm market, you do not need to cultivate a relationship. You already have a relationship. The worst thing you can do with your warm market, though, is be super professional and canned. And if you already did that, that's okay. Just go back and kind of do a redo, right? With your warm market, 1, talk to them how you always talk to them. So if you talk to your neighbor on the lawn, then talk to your neighbor on the lawn. Don't text her. If you talk to your girlfriends via text, then text them. Don't Facebook message them, right? If you talk to your sister on the phone, then talk to your sister on the phone. Don't text her, right? So whoever these people are, your warm market, the people that you guys, how many of you can tell me you do not have women in your life that you're close to that don't talk about how they feel physically and how they didn't fit into their pants? And that's impossible. Like I cannot be the only one who grew up every day with every situation I was in, my hairdresser, work, all of this stuff where we are not at one point talking about how we feel about our bodies. So you have a warm market that you can invite, but I want you to really think about how would I usually talk to them? And that's the first thing I'll say, because I'll see coaches that are Facebook messaging their neighbor. Is that how you usually talk to your neighbor? So think about how you always talk to them and invite them in the exact same manner. So if it's on your lawn, then run into them on your lawn again. Or if it's someone in the pickup, line at school, and just say it like you would anything else. Ashley Molstead has a really good video about how if you went to a Taylor Swift concert and you had a couple extra tickets and you wanted your friends to go, how would you say that to them? It's on you're standing out on your lawn, right? And you want to invite to the challenge group. Don't make it formal. Hey, I wanted to formally invite you, right? Just be you and say, by the way, I wanted to let you know I'm running this group. I did this challenge and man, it's helped me so much. Like I have seen a difference in this and this and this. And I know you and I have like talked about all these different things and how we can never get to the gym. Do you want to be a part of this with me? Right? And then let her ask questions and let her kind of lead the conversation as you would anything else. It doesn't need to sound professional or perfect or any of that stuff. Okay, so that's your warm market. Make a list of all, and warm does not mean friends. There's a big difference, okay? For a reason, when we think friends, we're thinking of our immediate girlfriends. In fact, some of my immediate girlfriends were not my best market. It was like the next level warm. It was my hairdresser. It was coworkers from a previous job, right? That was my warm market. It does not mean hot, it's warm. And I think sometimes we get so stuck in we think our immediate friends and family, we're thinking of our tight circle. And it's like, oh, I don't think my tight circle wants to do this. You need to think a little bit bigger than that. Warm are the people you chat with in your life who might not be your besties, right? It's your neighbor, it's your hairdresser, it's previous coworkers. It doesn't have to be the one you see every single day. Although I would invite her too, but I think that keeps the list really small and you need to think one step bigger. A step bigger than that, which to me is still warm, are the mutual friends on Facebook. So start thinking like right in the middle of your best friends and then that kind of like second degree warm of people you don't know but you're mutual. It's that circle of people you talk to. If you were in the grocery store and you see that person, you would say hello, but it might not be someone that you talk to on a regular basis. As a new coach, that's your gold mine. Like to me, that was what made my business as a new coach, was those people I run into in the grocery store who I would absolutely stop and say hello and see how things are, but I don't talk to them daily. And you probably have a way of communicating with them, right? You can text them. It's not weird to do so, even though you might not talk every single day. Invite them and do it in the way you usually talk to them, in your words, right? Like, how would you usually talk to them? Do it in that manner. That's your SC for February, you guys. If you're a newish coach, like that is SC10. You can find 5 people from that market. I know you can. That right there, go make that list. Those are your people. Those people also have a higher closing ratio. I can invite 20 from my semi-warm cold market, and even though I've peeped to peep them, and I might close 1 person this month, right? The people I'm actually closing this month are coming from prior month's work. You can message 20 and probably hit SC. It is incredible, the closing ratio with that semi-warm market. Okay, and you can go back and do this repeatedly, because my warmish market today has changed from my warmish market before. I don't have the same hairdresser because I moved, all right? So you can continuously do this activity and think, like, who are those people in my circle? I just moved to a new house too. I have new neighbors, and I can tell you guys right now, I do talk on the lawn to that mom that's 1 house away. And I did invite, she has not joined me yet, but still, right? That warm market is going to change, and they're always going to have a higher closing percentage. So go after that first.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So much, Gold. I want to respect your time, and I appreciate you. Thank you guys all for showing up. If you have any questions that come up, or if somebody's watching the recording and you have a question for Zee, I'm sure she wouldn't mind if I send them over.
Not at all.
But thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Success Club for all.
Woo!
Yes. Let's go.
Yay. All right, you guys have an amazing Team Cup month.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.